Alright, here's the second game I promised. I'm playing my chess deck that revolves around lowering the strength of enemy ice so that I can get through cheaply and destroy all the ice and keep the economy poor. It is a very good idea. The problem is, against the most competitive of corps today, there just isn't enough money and card draw within the Enak faction to justify playing this deck over your typical criminal or prepaid chaos theory kit deck. So, which is really, really unfortunate. So, after I had a look at my deck with all the Kaisa programs, the standard Enak Breaker suite, the Jin, the Parasites, I realized there were like 24 programs out of 45 cards in my deck, which is causing a lot of bloat. So every time I'm drawing cards that I don't really want to play because I don't have enough money to play all of them, or they are not that useful at a certain point in time. But then I realized, what if I put these programs to good use? Then I thought about my Professor deck that I play with Quality Time, Diesel, and Freelance Coding Contract. It's janky, but it works. And the best thing is you can import the entire Diesel, Quality Time, Freelance Coding Contract suite for 12 influence. So for 12 influence, I'm buying myself big card draw and good burst money. While at the same time, I'm able to recycle all my Kaisa into the heap so that I can fish them out with pawn. So now I have a reason to play pawn. This is fantastic. Alright, in this game, the plan changes though because I see he has 3 agendas in hand. My goodness. Yes. No prizes for guessing where I'm going to run the next turn. He must be really confident about the security of his HQ. So it's probably not just an Eli, it's probably a Surugi. Well, no, it's worse, it's Komainu. So I'm taking 5 net damage, and more importantly, I cannot continue on the run because there's a fetal AI in there. I saw it. So, ouch, that was painful. I think I made a big mistake here. What I should have done was to tutor a Parasite with the Jin and get rid of the Komainu. Instead, I draw up to 3 cards. I shouldn't be drawing up because this is not a Jinteki deck. So, yeah, now I'm wasting time drawing even more cards, which is what I shouldn't be doing. So yes, big mistake. I should be adapting to his plays. I have a Jin out. I should be tutoring a Parasite. At least force him to get more eyes up on HQ. Because right now, there's no way he can pump out agendas into any remote. So instead, I'm trying to secure my credits and draw up more cards. But with the with how lackluster Enak card draw is, just look at my hand. This is a piss poor hand. None of these cards are useful to me at all. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that Enak is very janky. There's nothing much I can do about this. If you get bad card draw, you will suffer much worse than Shapers or Criminal because there are no tutors and most of the programs are very situational. Like, you don't need a bishop now to deal with Komainu, Anyway, the Parasite goes there, and because I scrub, the Komainu instantly dies as opposed to having to wait for 1 turn. That 1 turn is huge because in that 1 turn, the corp can ice up HQ and keep me out. But now he wasn't able to keep me out, and as a result, I managed to score the NAPD. So scrub definitely came into big play here, and this is why I like Bishop and Scrub more than Data Sucker, because Data Sucker, if you can get the virus tokens off, you can definitely pose a huge threat to the corp. But otherwise, if it's just after a virus purge or you cannot get any central runs at all, you won't be able to accomplish much threat. Your Parasites will just be 0 strength Parasites, and the corp can react accordingly to that. Alright, so I see the bad news. He has an Elegance login protocol to get rid of my Scrubber. That is pretty annoying. But I'm pretty sure he won't play it right now because he has a lot of things on his mind, including the need to ice up HQ, because he knows that I know that there's a future perfect in there. I know that in the remote it's a Nisei, Caprice Nisei, and a Nisei agenda because he showed it to me and it's a 1 advance. That's the most obvious agendas to place there. Alright, so he protects HQ. So with 2 credits to my name, I really can't do anything right now. I mean, I can even consider running HQ, but no, that's not a very good idea. I mean, yeah, I should have placed pressure on him because look at me, I didn't place any pressure. So as a result, he pulled off the Nisei unimpeded. That is a huge problem. Once Jinteki RP scores a Nisei, it's like Astroscript being scored by NBN. You know, it's just going to let them snowball into 700 points. Alright, so I cyber threat his HQ, and he chooses not to rest the piece of ice protecting HQ. So that leads me to think that there are no agendas in HQ, because otherwise he will stop me from going in, because there's a chance that I could steal the future perfect. Instead, I am diverted into archives, because that's where I suspect his future perfect went to. He's desperate to get his agendas out of his hand. Turns out he didn't dump into archives, so now it's time for me to build up my credits again, and thankfully now I got my Trimark contract out. Trimark contract is pretty good. 2 burst credits per turn for just 1 influence. That's where I spent my last influence pip on. Alright, and he decides to score another agenda. Goodness me. Alright, so what can I do? I am starting to run out of options. I have no rig. You notice that. That's a huge problem. That is really, really a huge problem. The NR rig just takes too long to set up because I don't have enough money to do so, and yeah, I'm still digging for the pieces. So that is really, really bad for me. You could say he's on match point now because I know he's a future perfect. He can pump it into the remote. And I could place pressure on that remote, but it's just going to take up so much time. Perhaps I should, but he's on so many credits right now that yeah, you see that's where RP puts in so much, puts in so many problems. It gives you so many dilemmas. I mean, the root of the problem is that I didn't trash the Sun Deals, but then he has celebrity gift anyway. He's pretty rich. So you think to yourself, what's the point of spending one of your precious clicks to trash one of the now irrelevant Sun Deals? Maybe I should have contested the Caprice server. You never know what ice is on there. It could be some silly Eli, but even then, Eli is going to eat up my clicks like no tomorrow. There's just no efficient way to get through ice at this point. Not when the early Komainu sniped off so many of my important pieces, including the keyhole, I believe, and the 2 pawns. Yes, the 2 pawns being sniped off was a huge problem. I really, really need the pawns to start getting the bishops online so I can insta-parasite down everything. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and as you see, there's a mass install in my hand. The mass install is meant to as a backup. In case I don't draw my freelance with my power draw, at least I can mass install the pawns on my last click, so I don't have to discard too many useful cards back into my heap. But anyway, now it looks like game is over. There's enhanced login protocol on the table. He has a Nisei token and a 2 advanced agenda. So it will cost me 3 clicks minimum to run on that server. After which the Nisei token will just fire and I lose the game. So yeah, I considered there's not much hope. I guess I could have made a Hail Mary run on R&D, but I didn't have enough money to break through the Surugi completely. Well, that was unfortunate, but that's the way RP is. And it's quite sad because, yes, I did build this deck to combat such nasty Glacier decks. Parasite does a very good job against the likes of Surugi and Komainu. Unfortunately, the reality is my deck is still too slow to deal with this kind of situations. It's better to import Parasite into Shaper and work from there. Unfortunately, that's the truth, hard truth. This is definitely not even a semi-competitive deck. This is janky on so many levels. I've played a couple of other games with this deck, and I'm giving up on this idea. At least until further data packs come out. It really hurts when you spend your first few clicks and all your starting money on 2 quality times, and then there's no freelance coding contract. You are forced to trash all your cards in hand, and you're down to 0 credits. That is the worst feeling in the world, but that can happen. there are too many cogs that have to fit in the perfect places before my deck can get up and running. And until then, it's a huge problem drawing out all these pieces, getting enough money to install them in the right order. Like, Deep Red must be installed before you can play with your Kai'Sa, ideally. Otherwise, the clicks will just sap away from you, as if you're not spending enough clicks to install all your programs already. Jin must hit the board before the keyhole, etc., etc. And I tried for long-term economy in the form of Trimarth and KE Jones. It was way too slow. And I don't have any other burst economy than Freelance, which is a huge mistake. But yeah, I am definitely looking forward to the new NARC tools, most notably Inject and Dugas. I think both of them will inject literally new life into this sort of deck, because right now the only options available to NARCs for consistency are out of faction, and even then you cannot keep up with the pace that Shapers and Criminals can pose nowadays. Noise has caught up with all the new one install cost viruses, so that's good. But on the Kai'Sa front, unfortunately, there's a lot more work that needs to be done. Hopefully, in future data packs, we'll see the Queen or King come out somehow. Because right now, Kai'Sa isn't in a very good place, and there isn't much reason to run Deep Red, really. Except for the fact that I only possess one Grimoire, one physical copy of that card, and 3 Deep Reds. Hence, I'm trying to see if Kai'Sa can work. The answer is not yet. At least that's my conclusion. Can you prove me wrong? Thanks for watching, and happy night, buddy.